Today, yes today, we find ourselves all equally blessed on this journey through greater and lesser evils. Join us as we explore the hard realities and uncomfortable truths plaguing our society. So without any further ado, let's jump right in and rip this bandit off together. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Greater and Lesser Evils. As always, I'm here with my bookends, my massive brothers, the sexy as always, Xavier and Tank. How are we doing, gentlemen?
What's up?
I didn't know I was using the sexy one over here, but thank you.
I mean, you are a sex appeal, man. You do understand the demographic that you pull in is all about sex appeal.
Easy on me.
You are the sexy villain that everybody loves to hate.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I
Embrace it.
Yes, I will. I will embrace it.
The deep hug.
The deep hug.
And yes, both men and women, he's a deep hug. He's 2 thumbs up. Today, we come back with you with another episode. We're going to talk about Dune. It's in your local theaters right now.
Go see this movie.
Go see it.
We'll start with that. That's better than maybe some of our other reviews you heard us say, don't go see this movie within the first 5 seconds of recording. So we're getting somewhere.
I'm glad that they didn't do these too far apart so you didn't forget about the first one, So, and watch the first one, moving into the second one, and it's pretty good.
Yes, it is. It's amazing.
So I have to, the first time I saw it in the movie theater, I fell asleep. Part 2. I fell asleep for 20 minutes. It was a long day anyway. I do feel bad I fell asleep. I went back and I watched in the movie theater again.
How could you fall asleep with that, with the collector's edition popcorn thing? Sitting.
So I know we were going to wait to talk about that, but it fell all over the place. I know you have like 6, 7.
I love mine. Mine sits on my nightstand. I'd show it to you, but it's in the dishwasher right now.
Really?
It starts every night on my nightstand, but by the morning it's in the dishwasher.
So are you going to get us banned from?
No, I'm just saying. Have you seen it? Have you seen?
Oh yeah,
the collector's edition.
I saw it when I went to go get some food in there, man. You definitely are a fan of Timothy Chalamet. So
It is what it is.
Hey, I loved him in Wonka. Well, maybe one day we'll actually review that film too. But with Dune, we're going to talk about Dune 1 and Part 1 and Part 2 because it's part of the first novel. If you didn't know this, it's a series of 6 novels by Frank Herbert that his son, Brian Herbert, ended up doing some adaptations to. We'll talk about some of the tones between their relationship here in a little bit. But the movie starring Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, written by John Space.
Zendaya, I think is.
Zendaya.
And that's Zendaya.
Is it Zendaya?
Zendaya.
Mm-hmm.
Zendaya or Zendaya, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, just tell us. Put it in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. I actually enjoy you as an actress. Written by John Space, Dennis. You say that one.
Villanueva.
Thank you. Eric Roth, and then Frank Herbert came on for Part 2. Directed by Dennis
Villanueva.
Yeah. Then why am I reading this?
Dennis Vanilla Movies?
Venezuela?
Don't do that.
Villa new guy?
Villanueva.
Got it. So the budget for the first one came in at $165 million. Again, these are blockbusters. These are large scale. The second one talked in at $190 million. First one left the box office. And remember, this is during COVID where they released it to HBO Max.
It was only on HBO Max. Mm-hmm.
They got box office too.
Yeah, I know.
So, but $435 million, which is impressive to me. I mean, honestly, that says something. It'd probably been $1 billion movie if it wasn't for COVID. To be honest with you. Right now, we're currently sitting at this time of taping, $367 million worldwide, currently in the box office. However, they need to hit up $500 million to make a profit on this movie.
They will. I think this was good enough, especially worldwide. That they'll hit that number and then some. I think when all is said and done. I think there's a lot of people that even remember the books, and what I've been hearing, around the blocks and whatnot, is that they're pretty true to form in the movie. That a lot of people are pretty happy about the direction and the points of the book that they brought to life. On the big screen.
There are parts, there are things like Anna Taylor-Joy's character, which is the baby inside Rebecca Ferguson, or the Reverend Mother.
That's part 2.
Yeah, that's in part 2.
Remember, we're going to explain part 1 first.
But I just want to double back with that the I forgot why I wanted to double
That's
back
right.
with
So
that.
part one, sets up all the good stuff.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and run through part one. So anyone that's not familiar with the Dune novels, spice. Spice is the most coveted substance in the world. Think of it like heroin or sugar.
No,
or
like
oil.
No, it's not. No, that's not heroin or sugar.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
no, just on a level of
oil.
addiction.
This is good.
Yeah.
This is a good thing.
It's like
Well, it
oil
is, because
but
it's based for
such a precious commodity that people fight over it.
correct.
Exactly.
It's the
So-
basis of inner space travel.
Yeah.
So they can't
Interstellar
travel around the world
space
with
travel.
that. Yeah.
And the parallel, into the world that we know, is it's driven by industry, and we need gas,
Exactly.
all over
That's
the world,
fair.
So
Yeah.
it's
I guess I
kinda
didn't
like
want to
oil.
go the oil or gas
Yeah.
reference, and
Yeah,
I
but
wanted
that's
it
what
to be
it is.
spicier or
And
sweeter.
people fight over oil all the time.
I mean, you're not wrong. You are absolutely not wrong.
Yeah.
So we key in the Harkonnens, which are let's call them the evil people.
Can I like just
Yeah.
interject for a second?
Sure.
All right. So just to lay down for those who don't read or know anything about like Dune, this is what you would call a hardcore sci-fi like film, which means in hardcore, if you're wondering what that means, that they don't explain things to you. You simply have to know what is going on in the movie. You either you pick it up along the way, maybe you figure out, you deduce what's going on. Like for instance, this is a world where humans have evolved themselves. Okay, so if saying a thing like that, humans evolving themselves, particularly means that if you're wondering where the robots in this movie are, or AI, or whatever the assistants that you would think would be there, it's not there because humans have evolved themselves so far that they themselves are now superhuman. All right.
And it goes further as Paul Atreides goes through his arc as well.
Exactly. And that's the whole concept of spice. Spice is helping them conduct interstellar space travel.
Mm-hmm.
The pilots use it in order to get from one planet to another.
It amplifies.
Exactly.
It's also highly addicted to, hence why I said the sugar and heroin. Once you actually get exposed to it, it puts you in a psychedelic state and can do things to you that you don't want or may not want in the long-term thing.
Exactly. It expands. Long story short, it expands your mind. Right. That's why the pilots use it.
Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze.
Yeah. It allows them to avoid like meteors, like whatever is out there in space.
Yep.
They can see it happen before it happens.
Yep. So we go to Dune or Arrakis, which is the planet, and the Hurricanes are the evil forces that basically decide to enslave, conquer, and take over that world. They've been there for 80 years. The Emperor sent them directly. The Fremen would be the rebels on there that are fighting back to negate the spice, because again, the only place in the world that spice is pretty much found is on Arrakis or Dune, and this was the thing that has made the entire Federation, correct?
You're talking about the Empire.
There we go. The Empire. So at one point, the Emperor just decides that the Hurricanes can no longer be in control of Dune.
It's the Harkonnens.
There you go. That works. I'm going to say it. Look, I'm going to say it. Yeah, it is what it is.
When do we get to the sandworms? When do we get
we're
to
getting
the
there.
sandworms?
We're getting there. So they give House Atreides control, but the Emperor does that on purpose to basically start a war to make sure he can stay into power, and he wants both sides to wipe each other out. And to help that actually happen, he decides to give his army to the
Harkonnens
to wipe House Atreides off the face of the planet. House Atreides, when they actually landed on Dune and Arrakis, their plan was to bring the society together, make everyone better, which Oscar Isaac's character is absolutely amazing in there. He plays that perfectly well. The book, Josh Brolin's on point as his buddy. And even Jason Momoa, his part as Duncan, was great in the first one, too. They hit their roles.
Perfect. Yeah,
Spot
there's
on.
no way to put it. It was all the most manliest men ever.
Yeah.
Inside of one movie.
Manly Wars.
And they did
Oh, yeah.
They did man well.
He made me feel really bad about myself a lot.
I mean, he even shaved halfway through, so
Yeah,
he had
he
that
did.
weird look that you
Yeah.
looked at and like, man. So House Atreides basically gets wiped out in a sneak attack. They didn't know anything coming. The inside job, the doctor did him wrong. And then the doctor pays for it by getting his life killed, and his wife gets raped for the rest of her life. But the Paul Atreides.
So just to clarify one thing, all right. So Paul's mom is never married to her dad. She's a concubine.
She's a concubine,
So
correct.
this is just because a lot of people. I'm only bringing these little small.
No,
things.
that's fair.
Yeah,
No,
most
no.
people they don't know like, because they assume that that's his wife. That's not his wife.
Nope.
All right, everybody. That's
He
his-
actually makes
he's
a comment in
concubine.
part
Yeah, and I think that becomes relevant in
Yes,
Dune 2.
that's what makes it relevant in part of Dune 2 because they were never married.
Yeah.
But he loves her so much. That's the whole concept. It's not about what's on paper. It's about the fact he loves her.
Well, I'm going to spoil
so
it
much.
right now.
Yeah.
So spoilers
Yeah.
on
Unconditional.
the whole
Yeah.
thing. We didn't talk about spoilers when we were whole data sheet. Do you got anything with spoilers?
Spoilers?
Yeah.
For the whole-
Gwyneth Paltrow's head was in the box. Gwyneth Paltrow's head was in the box. Sorry, you didn't know that?
I didn't know there was a
Oh
box.
man, yeah.
Man,
It's
my life feels so much more touched.
sorry.
Man, that's my lesser evil of the day. I feel like I'm now I feel completed. He's a tank of knowledge.
Oh,
A tank of knowledge, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
A tank of knowledge and of humor.
Love spoilers. Sorry, guys.
With the spoilers, so she's Baron Vaughn. Say the name so I don't have to.
Harkonnen.
Thank you. She's his daughter. So they don't let you know that till all that. So the Harkonnens, did I say it right?
Got it.
Harkonnens.
Yeah.
There we go. The Harkonnens and the Atreides are actually linked by Paul. But you don't find that out till much later in part two.
Part
But
two.
we're going to spoil that right now for you. So sorry to cut you off.
It's
on
all
that.
right. It's okay. I was okay. I was just saying. That's it. That's all I had. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't even.
All right. So they both live, and then
Did you want another spoiler?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, you have another one?
No. Let's
No.
keep going. Let's keep
Yeah.
going.
Oh man,
Let's keep going, please.
We'll just have to
Let's
go
keep
to
going.
another episode to get more spoilers, man. Oh, too bad.
So Dune 2 starts, with Reverend Mother.
So Dune 2 starts after he proves himself as starting to build the legend of Lizan al-Gaib. Do you want to correct me on that one too?
Yeah.
Look, they're Arabic words. All these are based in Arabic words, and we know how well my Arabic
That's
is in
all
the
right.
first place. So
The ugly American over here.
I do want to touch on the technology thing in Dune. People always say, "Why is there no guns in Dune? Why is there no guns?" It's because they've protected or they've perfected. There's the proper word. The human shield. So if you see those shields, they go from blue to red every time someone's striking them. Projectiles would bounce directly off that. The only exception is when you got the machine guns from the helicopters. That's why hand-to-hand combat and swords are the most preferred way to execute warfare.
The art of the fight.
It's kinetic. Yeah, that's what it's kinetic. Anything fast moving is easily displaced, but if it's slow moving, and a long moving object is able to go through and slip through the shield.
Every good technology has an Achilles heel,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it really does give you. It's a very creative way of showing you that it's like really far into the future or really far into the past. You know, with one thing or another. Star Wars did it long ago in a galaxy far away.
Yeah.
You know, and seeing something like this, and the CGI. You know, it's a very creative way of giving you new arts of war
But if
and
you
why
didn't
their
know-
tactics are how they are.
Correct. But if you didn't know that they couldn't, if you didn't know that little piece, you go, well, why are they shooting them with guns? Guns have defined the 21st century and mankind and made us evolve.
Well,
past-
it's sci-fi.
Exactly.
You know, and
And it's low tech. If
Yeah.
you think about it,
Yep.
it's super low tech.
Primitive.
Oh yeah!
Doesn't make
Again,
sense.
it's a
Yeah.
little thing you
Yeah.
stats right here, and you're good to go
Yeah, it's too low tech.
and fight. So we'll actually start into Dune 2 now. When you're starting into Dune 2, you get the voiceover from Florence Pugh. By the way, she's absolutely gorgeous. I didn't even realize it was Florence Pugh. Pugh, you might have seen from the Black Widow movie. She's in tons of other different things. She's narrating basically the descent into madness into Arrakis from what the Emperor's done. And it kind of shows the Emperor in a light of maybe second-guessing his decisions. So I guess what I want to talk to you guys here about is killing to stay in power. Throughout the course of time, people have done it left and right. I mean, how do you feel about the general subject here? Is that something, the way to lead? Is that the defining factor here? I mean, how would you lead that society?
well, I think in a tyrannical style government, it's if that's how you want to lead, it's a necessary evil to stay in power, especially, if you're trying to stay king of the mountain, knowing that there are a lot of competitors. Unlike a free society, where you want the people to make choices for you, it's the one that they would agree with the most, because then they just vote you out. If you're trying to remain in a dictator style society and stay in power and something like that, I don't agree with it, but I understand it, because that's the only way that you would eliminate your competition. It wouldn't be with propaganda. You would just take things by force.
Because House Atreides is on the rise here, and they actually say it. So would you kill your rival? Would you take out your rival to stay in power?
It's not. It's one thing for you to see. What makes this movie, I can't really movie, but in real life, it's one thing to defend yourself, but it's another thing to plot, before it actually happens. And so that's the dilemma of this movie is they simply plot and executed a group of people who. Maybe you never know. Down the line, they could have been, actual partners. They could. I mean, there's no guarantee that this guy like Atreides was going to take over the Emperor's throne.
But why not do what people have done all the way through the course of history and just marry him, like the Imrazalti in the movie? Why not just marry them first thing?
And you do see some of those in dynasties.
Yeah.
Even in real life, you've seen two people, and I think that's why. Hollywood emulate, or parallels, that type of thing, because it is very relatable. That two families trying to stay in power. You see it in Game of Thrones. You see it, in lots of other dystopian. You're stronger together. And if you can unite the clans, it's one of those kind of things. You don't have to kill everybody.
In this particular movie, what happens is if you remember. I can't remember their name. The women who talk with the voice.
Bene Gesserit. Bene Gesserit.
The Bene Gesserit. Thank you.
I can actually say that.
So there you go. So I knew you could. The Bene Gesserit, the mother Bene Gesserit of the Emperor, which is the Grand Bene Gesserit. Long story short,
Reverend Mother.
Yeah, the Reverend Mother. She's the one that actually put the idea inside the Emperor's mind. All right, because even he had to question himself why he did that. But he doesn't know that it was her idea to do it because of the fact that Paul is a monster, like for real. Paul is a monster waiting to happen.
What about Leto Atreides? Leto the second Atreides, the one that actually becomes a monster, the sandworm. Sorry, that's foreshadowing for later.
Sorry. But for real, but Paul is he's a house. Like he cannot be.
I mean, there's a reason why he's called Lisan al-Gaib and the Messiah.
I liked his development in this second one, where he had to win over the tribe.
Exactly.
And we're going to talk about that. That's the best way to lead.
He's still with, what's her name, Chani?
So Chani actually goes her own path. So they're always going to love each other, but they never. Well, sure. His line with Chani ends right there.
But the relationship that they built, because she's respected by her community,
exactly.
He used her
exactly to build his way in,
almost like it was prophecy.
Toxic man stuff.
So we're already getting there. But if once he takes the water of life, if she doesn't cry on him, he's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah, he was
it's
dead.
over.
Right there.
It's right over. The movie's done right there, an hour in. And you're like, no more
need for a third.
5 more books. We'll just get that taken care of right now. Also, what really creeped me out is, Anna Taylor-Joy is the baby inside of her, the Reverend Mother for Paul Atreides' mom. Anna Taylor-Joy will actually be playing that character going forward. We get to see her actually in one of the cutscenes, and that's her. You've seen her in plenty of different movies. But the fact that she's talking is just weird to me. I know it's hardcore sci-fi, and I know this is something that I should accept, but there was a cringe factor for me. It was, why is a baby talking to me through the world?
So, this is a lot of Dune is. This is what I like about it. All right, is that it's spiritual. Okay. So everything about like Dune, it is the best mix, and I do mean I say this is the cutting edge mix of what could be considered like a blend between spirituality and science fiction. Like for real, forget Scientology. Okay, if someone really wanted to make a religion,
we love you, Tom Cruise.
It should have been Dune. Okay, just saying that. Like Dune should have been like this. If you think about all the elements inside of Dune, it matches every every tier for a religion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I think they actually touch on that as they, you're looking for somebody to believe in. You're also looking for signs along the way.
Yep.
And
it's a group are dedicated to that person that you're looking for already.
And Timothy
right?
Chalamet's
Chalamet's, I think his name. Yeah.
Character Paul checks all those boxes,
Yep.
And then even like for the Ultimate Warriors, like, dude, I saw it myself with my own eyes. He walked on water or whatever. The things were. They're like, oh, it's part of the prophecy. A lot of those things do parallel like, modern, our real world religion.
Yeah. The scene where there's like, oh, he doesn't want to lead us. Oh, he's so humble.
Yeah.
They talk about, they gossip the Stilgar's character.
Yeah.
Yes.
They sit there and they're like, yeah, exactly what you're saying there. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, like I said, like Dune could be a religion. Like if you read this book, my point is like if you read this, you could inadvertently like start thinking to yourself that you could be the one.
It. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this could be everything you ever want in life.
Yeah.
Right? Because the best part of this movie is the fact that it focuses so much on the individual, the internal, right? And that's what most spirituality is about. It's about focusing on the internal.
Yeah.
And the internal, hence therefore, like it acts upon the external. Okay? So everything he thought about, it came to fruition.
Sure.
Right? So just my personal thing, like one of my favorite parts of this movie, goes into Dune into part 2, is the fight that he has with the guy, in order to become part of the tribe.
Jameis.
Yeah, Jameis. All right.
Kills him.
He kills him.
I know words.
Yeah. So the best part about that is that like he had already. So if everyone's confused, like say on the last scene of the movie of like why he's like moving around, it's because he had already beat him. He had already fought him 1,000 times already and had already defeated him. He was just trying to find a way not to kill him.
Yeah.
That was the whole point.
And that's the same way he beats On Baron or
exactly.
And it comes full circle too when he's fighting Josh Brolin when in the first one, and he's like, "Oh, I have you," and he's got the knife in his his ribs.
Perfect.
It comes
and
right back.
Here it was, the same way he thinks he won, and he definitely did not.
He did not win. That's right. He had already defeated them before it happened. I said the internal is what makes this such a good movie. The fact that he's not only talking to himself, he's communicating with the entire universe.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing with him being the one.
Which is so fitting at the end, which we'll get into later.
We can go back through there.
Yeah.
So
I'm telling you, we wouldn't even have to even talk about scenes in a movie to tell you just how good this movie is. That's just how good this movie is.
Yeah, from start to finish, the landscapes, the large scale fight scenes, tons of action.
Dude, that
there's
last
also
scene, that whole
love
breakdown war
and
scene,
drama. There's something for everybody in this movie.
Yeah. And what
outrage, revenge, all that. Yeah.
And what were you saying about the military tactics?
So this is my thing that I like the most, and he talked about every great leader. Let's talk about like Sun Tzu. Let's talk about every military government that's been formed. You build yourself from the bottom up. You build yourself up from the private. You start as a sergeant. You get in the ground. You earn the respect of your troops. You bring everyone through you back too. And then you go certain levels. And this is the genius of, I think, the way they portrayed the whole battles is that he started off with guerrilla tactics, very colonial type stuff. He knew he couldn't match the forces one-on-one, so he's like, how do I attack these guys?
He evolves the attacks along the way like human histories of modern warfare.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then at the end, he has that perfect attack scheme where the storm brings in, and they get cover, and they minimize all the casualties possible. Now, here's the other thing that we struggle with. This guy is going to kill 6 billion people. Because he made this decision in Dune Part 2, he will kill 6 billion people.
But if you think of it this way, right, it wasn't really his decision because he tried everything possible not to do it.
I'll contend that.
Everything possible. So this is why this goes back to the movie being, is this him doing it or is this fate, right? Are you in control of what happens to you, or is something else basic control? Are you riding the rails?
Yeah.
Right. There is an external force.
Do you think that he was linked to his destiny?
He
Do you think he could have made that?
He has
that
no
choice?
I'm saying right now, like he has zero choice in what's happening.
Well, look at his lineage. You know, his mother, you know, has groomed him, you know, to be a certain thing. You know, and as they've touched those butterfly wings that affect his fate, it pushes him down a path, not to his own destruction, but you know, sometimes it's like a runaway train.
Yeah.
Now, you know, now that the wheels are in motion, there's no stopping
There's
it.
no stopping.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. And remember with his mother, she didn't even know that she was Baron von Harkonnen's daughter until she drank the the worm piss or the water of life, whatever you want to call it, depending on what you believe it actually is. So with that being said, I think the other cool thing is the mentality of the Fremen. Fremen? I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Fremen?
No, Freeman.
Fremen.
I think Freeman is the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the Fremen, the
'Cause
rebels,
that's
that
what they
works.
sing, yeah.
No, that
Yeah.
works. I love their mentality that they're a simple transactional society that's not worried about currency, not worried about status. Everyone's the same. Stilgar looks at him and be like, what do you have other than to offer the water in your body that I could actually live off of for me? That is a great mentality in life, that just knowing that we're down to that level of humanity where we leave everything aside, and the only way forward is you're based on how you go and live that
Your
Your
next
merit.
life.
Yeah, your merit in life. What you can do for your society as a whole, or what you can offer, what you truly have to offer. Yeah, instead of being a parasite on society.
Yeah.
Which is most politicians. Yeah, it's facts.
Which you know, you see who the villains are plain as day.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing. You know, when good leaders go bad, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and even sometimes
It's even going to go with Paul Atreides, just to filter that through. He's going to have some major issues going forward with his lineage.
Well, and I think when we talk about the end of the movie, I think that's kind of prevalent. I think it's very obvious. You know,
So the next book in the series is The Messiah.
Messiah.
And it's 15 years later. So I really hope they don't do us 15 years after that, and we actually get to see these battles hopefully involved. Now, Brian Herbert evolved that a little bit when he did his versions of it, but I hope we don't get the Frank Herbert version.
Okay.
I'll give you an example of what they changed here.
No, don't.
What?
Oh, you talking about you're talking about the movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, don't talk about the book, man. No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
I said,
So I want to. Normally, I talk about how much better the book is.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about how much worse the book is.
Man, this movie is amazing.
Yes,
That's
I
all I'm saying.
love that. So Baron von Harkonnen, right?
Yeah.
He's a pedophile in the book.
Well,
really.
Yes.
'Cause
He likes young little boys.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
The only part of the book that I read were the pictures. I was like, oh, look at I don't.
So not to
so
put
good
someone's
at the reading.
status out there, it's funny that
So I wouldn't know.
Frank Herbert writes that in. Brian Herbert, his son, is gay.
Okay.
So he has all these anti-gay overtones in the freaking first part of the actual books with that.
Okay.
And it's funny how that evolved, where obviously Brian changed that.
Yeah.
And you don't go away that, but that's an example where the book actually evolved the society. Because if we got that, if they would have shown us him with that indoctrination we talked about in movies, right?
Yeah.
That would have bothered me. I'm glad they changed that. It's one of the key things. Like Anna Taylor-Joy's character was supposed to kill Baron von Harkonnen. You know when he kills him? She kills him.
Yeah.
That's where the arc is in the book.
okay.
We're not going to wait for her to turn of age, and we need to kill that story, so they have Paul Atreides kill him. Now, the lines say, I'm going to kill you like an animal. But those are the things that evolved over the course of the book that we got better in the movies. I just want to make sure. People always like books are better, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hundreds of times, you know, I've heard, you know, the book was better.
Well,
and I'm like, I wouldn't know.
Except Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fight Club, the movie is better than the book.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
facts. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a whole nother review.
Yeah.
When I can go down that rabbit hole, but the point is,
Yeah,
I can see you.
he's got
I can
so
see you
many
winding up.
social issues.
I can see you like winding up right
Yeah.
now. But the question, no, we're not going to talk about Fight Club.
Yeah.
We should
Fight
probably
Club is
someday.
that good.
Wow, man.
But it is that good. If you've never seen Fight Club, see Fight Club.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when we will review it one day.
Yeah.
You'll see what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is for another. Every man in the world should have seen Fight Club at this point, like for real. Yeah.
So we've talked about this on previous issues with my issues with religion. However, The Bene Gesserit in this, and as TK aptly said, this entire monster, they've started the ground levels of what this prophecy was. The Bene Gesserit are the ones that are responsible for pushing this agenda. Now, the mother Bene Gesserit, that's the Emperor's one, says a perfect line in there. We plan in centuries. So this is a plan that they've been laying set. They were not actually sure if we transfer over to 1 and 2 that Paul Atreides was actually going to be the one. And when she gets miffed at the end, when he uses the voice on her. Yeah. So if anyone that doesn't, we didn't touch on it, the Bene Gesserit kind of have like a force power with the voice. It's a parallel star. Yeah.
My wife does that to me, and I take the trash out immediately. You know, when she uses the voice.
Go wash the car.
Oh yeah.
Car wash.
Done. It's already done.
Look, you don't even remember you did it too afterwards. You're like, wow,
I felt good doing it too. You know,
so
like I always wanted to do
but
that.
But they definitely have that power that you really need to know because it's going to become prevalent. And Paul being the one. Kind of like some of these other tween-age novels type thing, is the only male that can use it. So in this universe, the women are all powerful and the men just can't take the power. It's not presented in that way where it bashes us over the head with some of this feminism stuff.
You know, and that's kind of what I like about a movie like this. You know, if you're not pandering to me, you know, and you're giving me something that feels organic, you know, and it feels like the way. Yeah. You know, that works for me a lot. You know, I love powerful women characters when you don't have to remind me that they're powerful women.
That Reverend Mother's great. She's great that entire thing.
Exactly.
Rebecca Ferguson kills this one.
Well, 100%.
Yeah, she has the power.
Yeah.
When she's like there.
Yep. And then she talks smack at the end, telepathy to the other Reverend Mother, like, you were on the wrong side. I told you. Rebecca Ferguson, she was just amazing. She just killed it.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, the Reverend Mother. Yeah, I'll tell you what, though. When they make a third one, the Messiah, I hope they do, and they make a collector's Anya Taylor-Joy and a Reverend Mother collector's popcorn. I'm going to put them right there with the current one on my nightstand.
I mean, I'm good with that. Furiosa's coming out soon, too, so we get to see Anya Taylor-Joy in that, and we're definitely reviewing that.
Terrific.
So. What? I love her. I love her in what was the one where she was the chess player on Netflix?
Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, Queen's Gambit was great. I hate chess, and I was like, wow.
Anya Taylor-Joy has done Split. You know,
Peaches. She's Princess Peach and Mario, and we know how much I love Mario. Yeah. So
we can see how much you love Mario.
We definitely can see how much.
You can tell even when she was really young in The Witch. You know, she was terrific in that. You know, she was. I don't know, 14 or 13. I think she was like 14 or 15 when she did The Witch.
She's the next Natalie Portman. Remember Natalie Portman? Leon the Professional.
Right? She was fabulous.
She killed it in that, and that she was young. And then we're not going to talk about some of the trends of that. I know you love the movie.
But just like Dakota Fanning.
Oh yeah,
you know,
she's in Northern. Remember?
And Dakota Fanning was another one of these young prodigies. Every time she cried, I wanted to save her, no matter where she was.
Exactly.
I wanted to just rip, show I had an S on my chest and go save that crying little girl.
Who dare make Dakota Fanning cry? Who does this?
Even in Twilight, Twilight, where she's the bad one, I'd be like, well, she got to do what she got to do. But tell me a bad movie that there's been a Skarsgård in too, because you got Stellan Skarsgård in this one. He's the Baron.
Yep.
He killed. I can't picture anyone else in that role.
He murdered that role.
You could feel sinister. Just dripping.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they went with so he's more maniacal in the books too. I'm going to stop doing this, but he's more maniacal in the books than he's more like he's efficient. He's like a joke like Cobra Commander.
Okay.
In the books, in this one, you make him feel like he's like a mastermind.
Yeah.
You can see his master plans play out in front of you.
Yeah.
So
everyone that's what makes this movie so good is that everyone in this movie is I call it a dedicated actor.
All-star.
Yeah. It's all-star cast.
By far.
It really is.
It really is, yeah.
Whoever it was that cast these people really felt perfect.
Exactly. It was a symbol. Mm-hmm. It was like an Avengers
like
team
it was
symbol.
meant to be. Yeah.
100%.
And I'm looking forward. So 3 again is going to have to fast forward, but I'm looking forward.
So good for me that even when Paul rides the
The sandworm.
You know, look, Avatar did it first, but I don't even care, you know, because you know how I feel about lazy writing, you know, and constantly recycling some of these things. And I didn't even care that Avatar did it first. This was given to me in such a fresh, new way.
That sand, man, the sand, him falling through the sand.
Yeah.
You felt as though you were going through a sandstorm.
Me too.
When you was doing it. And then
I'm losing my breath.
Yeah, with that Hans Zimmer music, it came in like.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that music's over the top.
I can almost feel how hot the desert was just because of
can.
how bright they used a lot of the, you know, the scenery and whatnot.
This is what irritated me. Maybe I misheard this. And hopefully it was 140 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit. But we've all been in the desert at one point in our life, and I hate sand. Oh, I hate sand so much. I'm Anakin Skywalker. I hate sand. It gets everywhere. I feel sand on me right now, to be honest with you, just talking about it. With that being said, it didn't seem that hot. They were like, oh, they can't exist out there. It's not that hot. Maybe it was 100 degrees Celsius or 140 degrees Celsius, and I need to relook that. And that would make sense for the suits. But it didn't seem that hot to me.
I think.
Am I wrong with the lore?
No.
Did I miss something?
No. I think the issue is that, like, so this is the second half of the movie. So they have to explain, because remember, they were coming from a water world before. So you have to adjust. And my guess is that because everybody died, everybody was, like, adjusted at this, like, by the second movie. Because remember, at the end of the movie, when the Emperor's crew was there, they were covered.
Skarkar,
Salgar, they were all covered. The ones on the outside had full blown suits on. Remember, and like the ones that made them float and stuff.
Yep.
Man, it's so many good scenes in the movie. 100%. Like every time I think about a scene in the movie, it is amazing.
I liked, you know, like the overhead shots, you know, of them running towards each other. You know,
the cinematic value, dude.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
This felt. Let's point out it felt real. This is the realest sci-fi movie I've ever seen before. Even to the point where they basically, in my humble opinion, shot on Return of the Jedi. There was literally a Return of the Jedi scene in that movie where he's walking toward with his cape flowing behind him.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was so hardcore.
Yeah.
That was so hardcore.
That's what I'm talking about. Like recycling other people's, you know, pieces of other movies that were successful, you know, and I was able to, you know, completely glaze over that, you know, because of how good
it was. So good. That's what I'm saying. It was like, now that is how you do an entrance.
You do it.
That's how you make an entrance. Everybody's looking at you. It's one guy, and everything behind is destruction.
And we haven't talked about Timothy Chalamet in his other roles. He kills every role he's been in too. I loved him in Wonka. Again, we're going to review it eventually.
You know, he was in Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
He's the guy. Yeah, she goes, "You don't look up" at the end of the movie. Yeah. I know. Just like this dude is like,
which is also an amazing movie.
That's a really good movie.
Leo, Jennifer, fat guy, Jonah Hill, Barbara Streisand. Everyone kills it in that role. I think it's Barbara. Who's
that's
the president?
It's
Barbara. Okay, all right. Just making sure I don't go too far off the path here. Some of the things that have been coming out about this movie that I didn't like, I don't like to read other people's reviews, but I kind of like to get perspective from others too. They're talking about Chani being one of the main characters of this movie, and I didn't find that. Did you find that Chani stuck out about it?
So I think the reason why somebody would say that Chani is one of the mains is because of how compelling her story arc in here is, because every part that she has is to re-emphasize, you know, where, you know, Paul should be here. Paul is, you know, you give him a chance. You know, she's so relevant to the entire story, and then as it climaxes at the end, you know what she does, which I'm sure we're going to get to here. You know, and setting up. It's not just because in real life Zendaya is a superstar. No, it's because of how good and how relevant the parts that she was in were important, you know, to move that story along. That personally,
fair. What you got?
Yeah, I agree with the tank over there about that. I think I will say I can see how people say that, because I mean, yes, I guess she is a co-star, but if she's a co-star,
a ton of screen time.
Yeah, she does get a ton of screen time. But then again, every female in this movie gets a ton of screen time because there is no face that I cannot unrecognize in this movie. Everybody seems to get a legitimate amount of screen time. Even the Bene Gesserit, the Empress, the main.
But she's needed. She's
she
needed
does
to
she's
do
needed.
that. Yeah.
There's so many. That's why I was like, it's so weird about this movie, is because I don't know. It's not common for me to watch a movie and see just how much everyone plays a role in this movie. Yeah.
Look at Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin puts in a performance that he's right there when he needs to progress the story.
You know, every time one of these people got their time, you know, where they're center stage,
it was so impactful
every time.
Yeah, it was so.
Like, they stole the show. Oh my God, no, he stole the show.
Everybody. That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody stole the show in this movie, but it was the story that really stole the show. This movie, this whole movie, it is the story,
and it is a recycled story. I'll give you that. I mean, look, the Jesus Christ figure. I mean, that's literally what it is. He literally died for their sins. If you really want to consider what he did when he took the water of life, he died. He was dead and was brought back by the prophecy and by Zendaya's tears.
The parallels to religion are undoubtable.
Yeah, that's why I say this movie is. I mean, that's why I was like, I'm more surprised that this book didn't turn into religion instead of Scientology, Deuteronomy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, what's it's called?
L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard.
I still don't understand that. I'm gonna say that right now, but the point is that if I was gonna worship a sci-fi like God, it would definitely be Dune.
that one.
I'm telling you right now,
Be Dune.
be Dune. I'm saying that.
So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm going to tell you, in the top right, I'm going to put your face on that sandworm. And you're going to be up there right now in that sandworm right there. And I'm going to have you're going to see when it's done.
Don't put him on my popcorn bucket.
I'm not on the popcorn thing, though.
Put him on my popcorn bucket that's in the dishwasher right now.
There's no special taking popcorn bucket of me. There is no special edition. So right now, there's not going to be sold.
Because I would buy it.
Yeah.
If we ever do merch,
just say that.
we're gonna put him on collector's edition.
It's not gonna be on there.
I just got a stack of these things on my nightstand.
Yeah, you have to show the popcorn bucket that we're talking about. By the way,
so we'll talk about the Bene Gesserit. They're the mafia of the world. Look, they've got the master plan. They're pulling the strings behind all of it. If anything, you can call the Bene Gesserit the Hands of Fate, the Institutors of Density, the people that build everything up with it. Honestly, these whole things are built up by then.
I call them more of the Vatican Church.
Ooh,
they're the church.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, they are the church behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Think about every society around the world when we used to have kings and queens, right?
Yeah.
Notice that all of the kings and queens are gone, but who's still here?
The Bene Gesserit.
The church.
Yeah.
The church is still there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's how you got to think of them that way.
I mean, look. I mean, back in the day, they had asked permission to go to war.
God told them they could do it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, even in religions that don't believe in Catholicism or like that, even like some of the Japanese religions, I mean, they still prayed. Look at the Romans. The Romans would pray to their gods before they would go to war. So I mean, all those would make sense.
Yeah.
And I really think the arc of Paul Atreides is that of a Greek hero. Again, we're only getting this part, and I really shouldn't go too far into it, but his story is going to turn very bad very quickly. He realizes, like you said before, he's already seen it. He knows he's going to kill all these people, but he still does it because
it's fate.
He has to.
You can't stop.
Can't stop the rolling train.
Can't stop the train.
With that being said, I think they touch on it, and Zendaya's character definitely goes the controlling of religion. Now, even in modern day, there are a lot of people that religion controls their lives. Throughout the course of human history, no one's died more than anything
than in the pursuit of their
religious beliefs or impacting their religious beliefs on other people.
Well, and when you're looking at things like that, when you believe in something with your entire being, and you want other people, then and if you can't convert other people to think like you, well, then they're a threat, So it doesn't surprise me, that it's not just fanatics, when you've gathered this much momentum in one way or another, to want to eliminate whatever that competition is, religion or otherwise, you see that it always leads, to a very violent
conflict.
Yeah.
Almost
That's
like it's our humanity.
Yeah,
Or
and
our lack
that's
thereof.
and that's kind of why I think like this movie is going to resonate with a lot of people for a lot of different reasons.
Exactly. That's
you
what
know?
I'm saying. It just so many. It touches you. It touches so many chords. I think that's the best way to. Yeah. It touches so many chords. Whether it be religion,
Emotion,
warfare,
physics. Yeah, absolutely.
Action. Like I say, it's action. You know, mix that in. Go ahead. I thought you were about to say something.
No, I'm just
Okay.
agreeing.
Oh, yeah.
wholeheartedly.
I'm with you 100% with that. Back to the Bene Gesserit. This is all their master plan. Just fast forward the story. So he earns the respect of the tribe. His mother does her propaganda so well. It's very interesting that she could have died when she took the water of life. That was almost so. There was parts of these plans that they knew that they would have to go
Huge
through.
risks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the same thing. You talk about risk. Even he takes risks.
Well, you have to, when you're grabbing for power.
Exactly.
The fortune favors the bold.
That's real.
And they really do a great job of giving that to you, in story form, in a very realistic, like it feels like this could happen. No, there was no special effect. It was just so over the top. I mean, even when you look at the sandworm, the dust clouds and the things that it does and how big it is, well, then it should be able to eat through the sand the way that it does. Like there's a lot of those things that really do feel like it could happen.
Yeah.
In that world.
And they talk about in the lore that the largest sandworms are up to 400 meters. Can you imagine something swimming around right now in front of us, 400 meters long? That would be the entire length of a track. 400 meters. That's what the sand. These are massive.
Yeah.
They are desert power, which I was going to touch on too, because Jason or Oscar Isaac says the perfect line. In Kaladin, he's like, "Look, son, this is in Dune, the first one, the part one. He's like, we've mastered water power, we've mastered air power, but that's not going to work." He already knew they were going to have to master desert power to be able to take on Arrakis and Dune and be able to do the combat there. So he was already setting Paul up from the very start, even before Paul even realized he was near what the one was going to be, which is a great arc. So everything leads into it. I think it's perfect that, again, he led from the top. There are scenes when the risks where he gets up in front of that group. Like, think of when he's with all the Fremen and he walks in and they're all sitting there praying, and the Reverend Mother comes in, and he comes in and he challenges them. He's like, "None of you can beat me. I'm the best here. I'm the Messiah."
Exactly, because he didn't want to kill Skilgar to start off with, because that's his actual friend. And why would you want to do that? So he went a whole another route, and that was a very big risk. That's like I said, fortune favors the bold.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, and that was like I said, man,
It's an epic scene, too.
It is
I mean,
amazing. That's what I'm saying.
He nails, and then the speech with all that, and then they're all listening. They're doing the little thing.
Right. But even at the end, when he's like, kiss the rings, bitch,
Oh man.
And then when everybody starts to show their allegiance, and there are several that do not, and walk out, including Zendaya, Chani in that, which I think is very fitting, even in the real world, when you look at modern religion, and some people do go and convert or or pledge their allegiance, if you will, and several walk away at the same time, which may end up a different fate. We'll have to wait until the third installment.
What they do with that. You're right. It's very interesting how that goes down. Let's be honest, too. If so just to fast forward the story a little bit more, he takes over power, and then he's like, "Look, the only way we can do this is one way," and he calls out the Emperor. Now, if the Emperor doesn't show up, none of this can work. There's the plan is that if the Emperor never comes to Arrakis,
the whole idea was to bait him to Arrakis, and that's what he did. He baited the Emperor to show up to Arrakis, and that's what we didn't see it happening, but that was actually the long-term plan. The Fremen didn't see it. Paul was doing this the entire time, because they were just like, "You need to go to the north in order blah blah." He was like, "No, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna keep attacking the spice mines, the spice machine, right?" But you don't see his full plan of fruition until the end of the movie, because you may be asking the audience may be asking themselves the question, why did the Emperor decide to show up? Because he was losing money. That's it. It came down to money.
Yeah, his bottom line.
You want to call out the big boss? Fucking
Exactly.
hit his bottom line.
You hit his bottom line.
Yeah,
He
right.
hit his bottom line hard.
Because he knew you got to be the man to beat the man.
That's it.
Or you
That's
got to
it.
beat the man to be the man. Sorry, Ric Flair, I butchered your quote. But yeah, as Ric Flair already said, to beat the man, you got to be the man.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I mean, he comes down. The plan, we talked about the.
Yeah, and he's got to swallow his pride at the end, you know, and but it's not a good ending, you know, and what I mean by that is it was a brilliant end of this movie, but obviously it's not a good ending. There's still a lot of conflict.
Right.
There's still a lot of unresolved.
Did you catch Stilgar's
issues.
face? Did you look at Stilgar's face when he said, "Bring them to paradise"?
Well, I remember Paul
Did you?
saying that, and then I remember a lot of cheering, and then
So the only person that didn't cheer, Stilgar basically closes his eyes and covers his face.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
because he realizes what is going to be done.
Okay.
Not to the sheer level that Paul does. He doesn't see the 6 billion, but he realizes, oh, now we're going to have to go off world and go kill people.
Sure,
That's
but,
right.
You know, but I love the final spot where Chani is walking into the desert.
Oh, with all the
and
armada?
she's about to ride
Yeah.
a worm.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so she is also obviously, you know, worthy.
Oh yeah, she's
of-
Fremen.
Yeah.
So all the Fremen have to prove
Yeah,
themselves. to
and
do
it
that.
makes me wonder if there's actually going to be a worm battle, you know. So if like Timothy, and you know whether she forgives him or not, you know, and understands that this is all a power play, and to unite the clans, this has to happen because she's obviously in love with them.
Yeah.
He's in love with her too, you know. But is there going to be a big boy versus boy girl battle?
Yeah.
You know, with the I would love to see what's next because I'm not going to read the books.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about. This is what changed. This is the part that changed, and this is the part that. So to me, I would put it in my like take of this movie. I'm just saying overarching take is that like they took like I said, a hardcore sci-fi movie, and they tried to incorporate everyone else into watching this movie. Right? They did an excellent job.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing job, except the Chani part. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah?
The Chani part, her walking away, because at the end
I
of the
dig
day,
that.
that's because at the end of the day, it's not
dig
about how you feel, right? She know he had already expressed that he loved to her.
Yeah.
He loved her the most. To his this is just a business transaction.
Yeah.
So let me ask you the
I love
question
that
there.
there's hero girls in this, villain girls in
Yeah.
this, hero boys in
Yeah, and
this,
it's-
villain boys in this. Man, I loved all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think she regrets her part in the prophecy then?
No.
At the end of the movie, do you think she regrets her part in the prophecy, what she played?
I don't. I think that she's going to do something. You know, and I think because of the way that things have to happen, you know, and if it was her fate to bring this, you know, but she knows it's not the end. And I'm hoping, you know, that the spin on this, you know, is that, Zendaya's character Chani comes out with her happily ever after or her vengeance. Revenge is a dish best served cold kind of deal. You know, and I think that if she's going off, you know, it's to regroup.
Yeah.
You know, whether she brings her own army to this, I have no idea. You know, but it's obvious that there is.
Yeah, it's a split.
Yeah,
it's like
there's
a rift. It's just called a
dissension in
rift.
the ranks.
Yeah, it's called a rift.
You know.
Yep.
Because everyone is with him. It's just that's what makes it like confusing in a sense, right? Because who would follow Chani when there's the actual Messiah
Right
in front
there.
of your face?
Yeah, right in your face.
Yeah, and that's so that's the part, you know, like I said, that I don't think they should have added that part in.
Yeah.
If anything, like, you know, she goes with him, you know, she gives him a good browbeating, you know, real fast, right? Like, you know, you blah, blah, you know, just tell him off the whole time. But like for her to go off is just like, man, I don't know. I don't know how to turn out, but I get what they setting up, so to speak, right?
I think the other escalation that you have to reward that I don't think Paul Atreides saw when he put the plan together is if Baron von Harkonnen doesn't bring all the great houses to that planet. Doesn't put all the eyes of the world on that scenario. You don't get the same effect of that decision.
No, you don't.
And maybe almost to say that because he did that, that's why he had to pursue the war to paradise that faster than they would have in the books. So
Yeah.
it's interesting how they did that. He definitely mastered desert power. I mean, that fight scene is definitely all about desert. I mean, the best army in the world. We saw them wipe out. House Atreides was
the best.
well trained.
They were, yeah. They were the best.
Yeah.
Until
and you saw the Seleucur
Yep.
freaking wipe them out
Wipe
within
them out.
that.
Yeah,
They
just
didn't
that
have they didn't stand a chance. And then we just got to watch the Seleucur get the same treatment done.
Exactly.
If I'm saying that name wrong, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's a word. You know what I'm talking about. The Emperor's personal special forces. Yeah, it is what it is. With that, I do like that he didn't kill. He kissed the ring. I think the kiss the ring was a perfect.
Love that. Kiss the rings, bitch.
I
Loved that.
Yeah, I think that's how you win, though. Again, he doesn't want to kill people. That's the nice thing about this character.
Well, it
He's
shows
proven
compassion.
that-
You know,
Yeah.
it's not like he's trying to rule with an iron fist. You know, it's starting this way, but now because we've seen absolute power corrupts absolutely. How is this next movie? Going to play out? Especially if they're saying like, oh, it's not going to follow the books the way that you think it is. If they're doing this a certain way,
He's taking some
excited.
liberties.
I think
Yeah.
the first two movies were good enough that we need a third.
Yeah.
At least
It has
a
to
third.
be done. I'm saying right now.
It's got to make the money, though. If it doesn't make that money to break even, I mean, the budget, that's a large budget.
There were
190
three
million.
Lord of the
budget.
Rings and then 3 Hobbits or something
Correct.
like this,
Yeah.
And if this doesn't go at least 3, I think.
But that was a different time, though, too. I mean, the Lord of the Rings every single one pretty much made $1 billion.
Sure.
Isn't it pretty close? It's like one of them.
Let's not forget these aren't rentable yet. So
Exactly.
it's going to make even more when people can watch them over and over in their own homes.
Fair. We wish it the best, though. I mean, it is
That's
a
excellent, great
excellent
cast,
movie indeed.
Great movie.
Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's go to our restructured scale of excellence here. Referring to the scale of excellence, what are we thinking?
Oh, for me, I mean, it's got to be somewhere between sensational and astonishing. I think this is definitely worth a watch, multiple watches, because even after you key in on certain things, to be able to go back and watch it again and then key in on more things and great little details along the way. And even for a casual movie watcher as myself, having friends around me that have read the books and say, hey man, you got to watch it again because there's an Easter egg here, and there's an Easter egg there. And then I get to watch it again and go, oh yeah, look at that. This is definitely a must watch. If you like sci-fi, if you like action, if you like dramas, thriller. I mean, this really does check a lot of the boxes. It's going to reach a lot of people.
Xavier?
For me, I would say I want to give it a flawless, but I can't because I would call it immaculate. Immaculate at the worst. It's not flawless because of like I said before. Something when I watched this movie, I couldn't help but go because there is I call it a pure metal sci-fi scene like in it where there's a black sun. And because
they're all
that
on the
is
Harken Home
an
planet.
amazing scene.
Yeah.
Everything in there is like white and black.
But that Coliseum fight was awesome. I like
it was
fight. We didn't touch on
amazing,
that,
right? I was man when I saw that I automatically got hyped.
Yeah.
When I saw that.
Well, I even like when you're watching that scene in the gladiator arena.
Yeah.
That it initially starts as a rigged fight.
Exactly.
Because you even see that
And
in
it's-
our own lives,
Yeah.
where somebody's being groomed to be the leader.
Thinking Gladiator, when the Emperor went
Yeah.
up, they stabbed him and
Absolutely.
made sure he had wounds before he went
Yeah.
out there. So-
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that scene lets you know that like this is more than meets the eye.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That whole point of
Yeah.
that. While at the same time not catering to those who wouldn't understand ultraviolet light. All right. I'm just saying. It's like I don't understand. It didn't bother to try to go. Do you understand? No one's no stupid line. Girl. Do you get why everything is like white? That would have been like a Star Trek movie, you know.
Yeah.
But
Mansplaining by example.
what exactly is red matter? Well, you know, red matter. No, we don't. They don't answer questions in this movie. You simply go.
You better know
You
already.
better know already. Mm-hmm. That's it. You gotta already know.
Yeah.
All right. And that. So they teeter on that line so well, but for some, like I said before. There was a point in the movie where I go, it seemed as though they tried to make this for everybody, right? Like I said, they did it.
But they didn't pander doing
They
it.
did not pander doing it.
I
That's
think
what I'm saying, yeah.
It organically reaches
Yeah.
a very wide, they casted a wide net.
Exactly. And that's
You know?
and that's why I say, like, I'm going to put it between flawless and immaculate. And I want to put it at flawless, but I can't. I can't put it at flawless because of that I feel it. I feel
It's your
there's something
highest so
off.
far.
Yeah, this it is. No, this is... I love this movie. I love like Dune Part 1, and this Part 2. I loved it, but I think the Part 2 is more interpretive for everybody else. But Part 1, they really stuck it like hard to you that this is it's a very personal movie, right? It's personal to how you feel spiritually or how you feel in your own life, and that's why I say like this is a immaculate movie. At the very least.
All right. That's fair. So I got to start off with an apology. I got to apologize to you both. Very rare that I apologize for anything, but this one's warranted. So my problem originally, I hated Dune Part 1. I hated it. I hated it the first time I watched it, and I fell asleep during Dune Part 2.
Well, they had me already at the very beginning when they make that noise that sounded like somebody drank a whole 2-liter bottle of Coke, and he's like, oh man,
So
I'm in.
that's their traditional song. That's one of the rituals.
Yeah, no,
I mean that worked too. So some of I actually kind of
anything
like
that
some
sounds
of the
like drinking a keg of beer, I'm already in.
well, I mean, the tank. I mean,
That's right. Once it hits your lips,
it goes.
I'm
it goes
all
to
in.
be said.
sweet.
But the reason I'm apologizing is I was wrong. Throughout the course of this preparation, I watched Part 1 twice and Part 2 twice, and I read 2 books. With all that being said, I was wrong.
And you still showed up with that shirt.
Yeah, still showed up with the shirt.
Your mom is so mad that you took the drapes out of her bedroom.
If my mom has drapes like this, she's in a red light district, and I know she's not there. So, and if she is, I'm not going to judge. I love her no matter the what, and so be it. So, but I know she's not. But yeah, you got to dress the part, right? You got to dress what you want to be. What is that thing? What's that thing? You got to dress the way you feel or something like that. There's some
Dress for the job you want.
Yeah, I'm dressing for a pimp.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make that money somehow. Anyway, I loved it. I loved everything about it. The more I got into it, the more I started taking notes. I teared up twice, 3 times. If we're going through all the parts, I was like, man, that's inspirational. That's a great way to do it. I'm immaculate too. I'm in that area. They did a great job. I'm looking forward to 3. I need to finish Dune the Messiah, but that book, he's going to go a full arc, and I hope they let him. But I hope they don't fast forward 15 years. So I want to see all the gritty war. I don't want a montage. I want to see something.
I was just going to say that, at least a montage. You want the
grit.
whole first act to be that.
If you're going to pay all these solid actors that you bringing into this thing, all this money, and you're going to use them at their talents, use them at their talents. Let them show what is happening. Let him show the perils of war. Let him show these parts where he was dreading. Because if you don't, you're going to do us a disservice that you set up that he was all like, oh, I can't take on this destiny, and he was battling it the entire time. So that's just my take with it, though. So. All right. But so now this might be the hardest part for us. Where do you rank this on the Poor Things, Barbie, and then at the very, very bottom right?
Above both of those. It's not even a question. Not even a question.
Not even a question.
No, it's not a question.
It's just like when, it's hard to compare this to Poor Things, which won a lot of Oscars because Poor Things,
shout out on getting the Best Actress right again,
is not an action movie, and if you're really into action, this checks every box. The CGI, the action, the stunts. I would put it up higher than Poor Things, not because of the brilliance, but because of how the whole movie from start to finish, it's very Mad Max. You know, it's just got a whole lot of great
Everything.
Yeah, you know, great action, great speed, great. You know, the way that the whole story is delivered to you. This should have been held for the summer to be the summer blockbuster, which makes me excited to see what's coming, because we're only in March.
Yep.
You know, right now, and we got
Fall Guy, we got Furiosa.
Right, but this is also from this year versus last year. You know, so I'm you know, of the movies that have happened this year, it's hard to compare them to last year's Oscars and things like that.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you know, with all the great talent, you know, and the souls that they bared for us, you know, but I do think that Dune is very, very worthy of a lot of attention.
It won't get any Oscar attention. Like he said, it'll probably get Best Sound. Hans Zimmer has like 6 Oscars for Best Sound for the Batman movies and Lord of the Rings and various other arts. I'll agree with you guys. I'll put it above it. I think it's a hard comparison between the two, because you're going artsy versus hardcore action.
Yeah, mainstream. You know, versus like you said,
art.
You know, an actual art.
Yeah. So, I mean, but this is why we make these choices and we look at it, and everyone.
I'm a simple man with simple pleasures, and I do like, you know, action over art, and that's why, you know, like I would watch this.
What's your favorite popcorn?
My favorite popcorn?
Yeah, what's the favorite popcorn you put in your popcorn thing?
I don't want to say.
Oh, all right. So we'll leave that on a cliffhanger. That's our cliffhanger till the next episode.
Tune in next week to see how gross Frank the Tank. What else is on his nightstand?
This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is our last taping of the week here. You'll see the videos here coming up, and like you said, you'll see us live here soon. Appreciate everything. If you like what we're talking about, don't like it, want to talk about it, want to do anything above, everything below, comment, subscribe, smash it. We're here for you. We do this, and we're going to keep on doing it. We appreciate your time. You guys are the best. See you.
All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings the program to its unfortunate end. If you liked or hated it so much you can't wait to see what we say next, smash that subscribe and like button. Join the family. Join the ride.